Hi, today I'm going to explain a 2019 action film named Assassin Games, where a professional killer is sent to kill soft-looking man unaware he is also a professional killer. The movies begin in France, where a wedding is taking place. At the wedding reception, the bride made a toast to her father, and as the dance and song began, Vincent Brazil, disguised as a waiter, came to serve the bride and her family. In the process, he poured a drink on the bride's father, and as he tried to help the bride's father clean his shirt, the waiter left. It turns out that Vincent had sliced the bride's father's throat, and when the guard noticed that something was wrong, I was already late as Vincent had already run. As the other guards went after Vincent, he killed them, and he successfully escaped from the pursuit of the guards. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Roland Flint was attending to his comatose wife. Back in France, Vincent went to his apartment after the assassination, where he dropped his weapons and attended to his turtle. Later, the Interpol chief, who was under scrutiny by the public, had a meeting with agents Godfrey and Shell on how they left some loose ends in the corrupt deals they had made in the past, and he threatened the two agents that if they did not deal with Flint as soon as possible to tie up the loose ends, then he would turn them in, after which he left angrily. Godfrey and Shell then devised a plan to bait Flint out by paying the Ukrainians to release Polo, whom Flint has a personal vendetta against, after which they would put a price on Polo's head. In Ukraine, Flint, who was cutting firewood, was informed by his wife's nurse that a foreigner had come into town, which made him alert. He then instantly went after the man, and he discovered that the man was an old acquaintance who tracked him with the hope that Flint would take up a job to assassinate Polo. But he refused and threatened his old pal to leave and not look for him again. Vincent, on the other hand, went to a place where he met with a black man who was the source of his assassination job. The man gave him diamonds as payments, and then he told Vincent about another job, which is to kill Polo Yakur, who is being released. The payment is twice his usual payment, and Vincent chose to accept the job. After Polo was released, he asked about his brother, and he was told that his brother had been arrested. Later, Flint had a flashback of how Polo assaulted his wife before him and how he could not do anything, and this made him upset as he remembered this incident. Meanwhile, when Vincent got home, he saw his new neighbors, a man and a lady named October. The man tried to convince Vincent to sell his apartment, but Vincent refused, and when he entered his apartment, he kept the diamonds he received as payment in his secret vault. In the night, Flint had a dream about the incident that caused his wife to fall into a coma. Then he decided to call his old pal and say that he would take up the job, but he was told that the job has been taken by someone else. However, Flint said he does not care about the money because the job is personal, even though his old pal tried to convince him not to take the job as he would be getting in someone else's way. Flint was determined, and he was able to persuade his pal to help him. The next day, he left Ukraine after putting a camera in front of his wife's bed so as to track her all the time. Later, Vincent was able to get the information that Polo would be visiting the municipal courthouse, and Flint was also able to get the information, and he prepared to assassinate Polo. At the building opposite the courthouse, Flint set up his sniper rifle as he waited for Polo to come out. However, at the moment where he got a shot at Polo, Vincent drove a van, which blocked Flint's bullet and also caused his arrow, which he had planned on killing Polo with, to miss and hit Polo's brother, Dante. As the situation turned chaotic, Flint tried to use the chance to kill Polo up close, but Godfrey, who was in the car, shot him by the arm. However, before they could follow up on Flint, the court guards started shooting their car, and they escaped, after which Flint also used the opportunity to flee. Even though some guards went after him, he defeated them and successfully escaped. Later, when Polo got to know that the person who killed his brother is a toxin expert, he got upset and gathered his boys and told them that as soon as he heard he had been released, he knew that something was off. And then he told them that he was not going to stop until he found the person who killed his brother. Flint, who was being treated, refused to leave the country even after knowing that everything was a setup, and then he told his pal to find out some information about Polo's cousin. Meanwhile, Flint, who was playing his violin at his apartment, was disturbed by his neighbor who was busy beating October. Vincent then came out and told them to stop, but the man did not. Then he came out the second time and beat the man, causing the man to leave, but October, who was locked out of the room, was invited by Vincent into his apartment and he gave her some balm to ease her injury. However, at that moment he received a call that even though he was prevented from completing the job by someone who has a person grudge against Polo, the job is still opened. And then he was given the possible location of Flint, and as he prepared to leave, he tried to send October away, but she begged him that she had nowhere to stay, which he later accepted, and told her to make sure she's gone by morning. At Polo's cousin's warehouse, Flint incapacitated the guards, and when he was searching the warehouse, he was attacked by Vincent, who told him to stop going after Polo. Flint explained that he does not care about the money as this is a personal matter. However, Vincent does not agree as it might cause him to lose money. The two started fighting until they reached a stalemate, where they later agreed to work together to kill Polo. Later, they went after a guy who sells polo weapons, and then Flint threatened him with a laser guidance gun into telling him where Polo is. After the man confessed, Vincent killed the man, which made Flint upset as he explained that he wanted to use the man as bait to bring out Polo, but Vincent responded that he did not know, and that Flint should communicate more the next time. Polo later got to see Vincent's picture, and told his guys to distribute Vincent's picture through the whole city, as he wanted Vincent found. Later, when Vincent got home and discovered that October was still around, he told her to leave. However, when he saw her pet his turtle, and the turtle responded, he was amazed. And then October showed him how to do it. Then he told her to wait as he attended to her wound. Later, Flint, who was angry about how Interpol is setting him up, went to the chief of Interpol's house and threatened to kill his wife if they did not stop coming after him. The next day, the chief was furious at Godfrey and Shell and told them that they must capture Flint within the next 48 hours. After that, the two agents decided to tell Polo about their plan. Polo then went to Nalbandian's place and tried to threaten him into revealing the person behind his bounty. But Nalbandian called out his guys, which Godfrey and Shell were also among, and they told Polo about their plan to capture Flint and the immunity he would get in return. Polo agreed to help them on the condition that they give him the person who killed his brother, but Nalbandian refused to tell him unless he paid the right price. Flint's old friend was later captured by Polo's men, and when they interrogated him, he refused to tell them who he was. Vincent, on the other hand, was informed by Nalbandian to trick Flint into coming to a place as his payment would be doubled. Vincent tried to refuse, but in the end, he agreed to bring Flint to the city hall the next day. Later, Vincent met up with Flint and asked why he cared so much about killing Polo. Flint explained what happened, and then Vincent told him that he got information that Polo would be going to City Hall the next day. They agreed to meet up the next day. At home, Vincent and October had some conversation about their lives and futures. The same night, Vincent's neighbor Benny told Polo that he knew where Vincent lived. The next day, Flint arrived at the City Hall, and as he got ready to kill Polo, he saw Vincent, who gave him the go-ahead. However, before Flint could kill Polo with his gun, he was attacked by the Interpol agents, and as he struggled to defeat them, he was electrocuted by Godfrey with a taser, after which he was captured. A worker who saw them approached them about what was happening, but Shell showed her his ID card and ordered her to go back to her office, and as they were taking Flint away, he looked at Vincent, who also looked back at him. They also met Polo on their way, who taunted Flint. Later, Vincent went to Nalbandian's place to collect his payment. However, he refused to do the next job as he said that he wanted to take some time off. On his way out, he was called back by Nalbandian to receive a call, and it turns out that it was Polo calling to tell him that he is currently at his house and that he has taken October hostage. Polo told Vincent to come over in exchange for October. However, Vincent refused to come despite his feelings. After hanging up the call, Vincent told Nalbandian that it was over between them. In a warehouse, Godfrey, Shell, and some other agents interrogated Flint about where their money was, but Flint told them that he did not know. However, they did not believe him. At Vincent's apartment, he saw that the room had been destroyed by Polo, and then he saw the mutilated and dead October on the bed. Seeing all this, Vincent got emotional and sad. Then he went to Nalbandian Place and asked for the location where Flint was taken. Nalbandian tried to refuse, but Vincent offered diamonds as payment, which made Nalbandian reconsider. But he did not accept the diamond because he hopes that they can continue working together. At the warehouse where Interpol were interrogating Flint, Flint refused to answer their questions while he thought about what happened to his wife. Godfrey got upset and asked Gabor, who was in charge of the electrocution machine, to increase the voltage, but Gabor could not answer as he had been stabbed by Vincent's knife. When the rest saw Gabor fall, they increased their guards. However, they were all killed by Vincent with an act gun except for Shell, who hid. When Shell realized that he was in danger, he tried to use the tied-up Flint as a hostage, but that was his mistake. as Flint was able to strangle him with the chain he was bound with. The two guys made up, and they left the warehouse. Polo and the Interpol chief met up, as they were concerned about Godfrey and Shell, who went missing while taking care of Flint. Meanwhile, Flint, after escaping with Vincent, called his wife's nurse, and when they were speaking, the line got cut, and this made Flint realize that something was wrong, as the nurse over there was killed by Polo. The next day, Flint and Vincent arrived at the hospital where his wife was kept, and when they were devising a plan on how to take care of the guards, Polo called Flint and threatened him that if he and Vincent did not surrender in 15 minutes, he would tell his boys to assault his wife, and then he would skin her alive. The two had no choice but to surrender, and when they arrived in front of the house, they were stripped of their weapons and taken before Polo. On getting before Polo, Vincent offered Polo diamonds in exchange for his freedom, which caused strife between him and Flint, and as they argued, they made a move as Flint used the laser guidance gun remote to direct the gun they had set outside to kill Polo's men, and Vincent took a rifle to finish off the last guard, leaving only Polo. As Flint took a knife that was on the table to stab Polo, Polo also reacted, and as he was about to use the knife to kill Flint, Vincent hit Polo, and then he left Polo for Flint to finish off. Flint forced Polo until Polo begged his wife in agony, then he killed Polo, after which Flint wept before his wife as he apologized to her. After that, Vincent went after Benny, his neighbor, while Flint went after the Interpol chief, and they killed both of them. Later, a doctor told Flint about a procedure that could cure his wife. However, the doctor told him that it was expensive, but Flint assured the doctor that money was not the problem and that they should start immediately. In a church, Vincent lit some candles for October as he remembered their past conversation, where she said she wanted someone she could trust to light candles for her after she's gone. And here the movie ends. Our team has put in a lot of work to create this recap. If you enjoyed them, we would really appreciate it if you could give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. This really helps us make more interesting recaps for you. Thanks for your support.